Hello, adventurers! It is I, Soloist Adventure, and welcome to my YouTube channel. For today, we are going to finally start my October series. In the October series, it is titled Lean on Mystery, Not Monsters. So, let me explain the title and the idea behind this. So, when you are playing your solo tabletop RPGs, I remember when I first started, it was a typical adventure of here's a room, here's a monster, defeat it, go into the next room. And it was just a loop like that, like monster after monster. And I started to get bored. And so when we lean on monsters, we should actually lean on the mystery behind the monsters. And we should ask questions like, how is this monster related to my main quest? This particular monster, what is their weakness? How did they get here? Is this their home, or are they trying to guard or protect something? And what if there is a NPC that is the master of the monster and train that monster to guard something, etc. And so when we're playing our tabletop RPG solo, it's very easy to kind of miss that element of surprise. And so that element of surprise, I feel like for you to really enjoy and engage with your tabletop RPG session, you have to lean in on the mystery behind exploring different parts of your adventure. So, kind of some inspo behind this is I was reading an article in this issue of Secret Passages, which is a tabletop RPG magazine. And this particular one, this article, Born Strahd. So basically, it's an article that kind of talks about the birth of Ravenloft and how the designers came up with this advanced D&D game adventure. So basically, the story is we have Tracy here. He was running a game, and in the dungeon, there was a vampire. And apparently, it says it right here, the vampire's appearance was very random. And there was no backstory as to why was that vampire there. Did the vampire want something from the players, etc. And so he actually took the time to create this amazing, complicated, and complex villain. And that was how Strahd in Ravenloft was born. He took the time to learn more about Strahd and to give this character a lot more depth and mystery behind his motives, his personality. And so you can see that with Ravenloft, it just went off. And there's so many other adventures out there. And this whole backstory of how Ravenloft was born, it paved the way for other adventures, like what was it, Dragonlance, for example. And so he leaned in on the mystery behind Strahd. And that is something that I want to talk about, is how you can lean in on that mystery and stay engaged in your tabletop RPG sessions. So for today's little imagery here, we have a mecha graveyard. That was one of the prompts for Ink October, if you're doing something like that. And so we have here this Zaku mobile suit, and you can see only half of the mobile suit is here in this particular graveyard. So as you are venturing in the desert and you come across this mobile suit, you start to think about, how did this mobile suit get here? What's the story behind it? Who was the pilot that was driving this huge machine? And so I would like to talk about my very first point, which is to not make sure that you don't figure everything out. So as you are exploring this desert and you see this mobile suit, you probably want to immediately roll on a bunch of tables to kind of figure out, where did they come from? who drove this like mobile suit. Like you probably have all these questions, and not every single question needs to be answered right away. And that is kind of my point here, especially when it comes to maps. So when we are thinking about our map here, so when you explore a dungeon, the town, maybe like in the plains or like swamps or something, you can create anchors when you visit that particular area, and you can hash out the details of that anchor later on. So let me give you an example here. So we have this very basic map of a dungeon. So there's only 4 rooms, and as you can see, I didn't draw any like doors, no details in this map. And that is because for me to enjoy that element of surprise, I will roll on the tables as I get to particular points of the dungeon. So when you explore room 1, you encounter a monster, and after encountering it, the room is safe to explore. So when you search it, you roll on random tables and you see that you got a treasure chest. But the treasure chest is locked. And so you make a note, you make an anchor that you need to find the key, and you can unlock that like treasure chest later on after you find the key. So you continue down the hallway, you go to room 2, room 3, and then eventually when you get to room 4, you see that the monster is holding a key, and that can be another anchor that you can visit later. So you have this key, but you're not sure if it's meant for the treasure chest, if it opens a secret room. And so as you are exploring, you have a choice. You can either go back to room 1 and try to unlock the treasure chest with that key, or you can just keep the key and keep exploring, because you never know. What if it unlocks something else? And as you are looking at the key, you can roll on random tables to see if there's any like weird etchings or maybe a stamp of some sort on this like key that would indicate like a hint or something of what it could be. And so those are certain anchors and certain questions that you can ask yourself as you are exploring. I think it's really important that when you are creating certain points of anchors to explore, you have to keep an open mind and keep asking open questions. That is the best way to keep that element of surprise, to immerse yourself in the mystery behind your adventure. So, number 2, you also have to make sure that you simplify it. You have to narrow on your adventure prompt. You have to narrow your focus on just this prompt, because it is easy to get sidetracked, in my opinion. Like, side quests are really fun, but you can just save those side quests as anchors that you can visit later. But I think it's important for you to remember the main point of the adventure. So when you interpret certain situations, you can ask the oracle how it's tied back to the prompt. So I'll give you an example here. I just thought of a really random prompt: break the curse. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that means. But I have noticed that there is this strange evil that's lurking in the town, and it's causing an illness among the townsfolk, and people are dying because of this curse. And so, you being the brave adventurer that you are, you decided to take on this quest and explore the dungeon to break that curse. You have no idea what you're getting yourself into, and that is the fun and mystery behind it. So as you are navigating room 1 and you come across that like treasure chest, right? We can ask the oracle, is this tied to the main prompt? And if so, how? So we can roll here for our answer. So let's see. So we got a 2 and a 3. So that is a total of 5. And so that means it is a yes. So it means that this treasure chest, there's something in this treasure chest that will help break the curse. And now we can ask some complex questions. So let's say we already found the key and it unlocks the treasure chest here. So what have we found? So we can roll on the complex questions table. So we can do that. And let's see. So we got a 4. So a 4 is a discovery. Okay, so that means that you have found something that is correlated to this curse. And let's see, we can do maybe another what it is or a why. So let's do both of those. So 2, an attack. Okay, so I'm interpreting attack as some sort of special weapon in the treasure chest. And let's see, we got influence. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we found a weapon, and this weapon, I'm interpreting influence as like something magical. And so the wielder of this weapon, I'll just say it's a sword, the wielder of this weapon is the key to defeat whatever or whoever it is that is not lifting the curse. So that is how I am interpreting that. That is how this particular magic sword item is tied back to our prompt here. And now, when we're going into my third point here, so as you're exploring, let it grow organically. So you don't need every single thing like mapped out, right? You can add certain places, NPCs, rumors as you play and when you meet those certain milestones. And then you can go back to any area that you already explored. Remember those anchors that I talked about? Like you can keep track of those anchors and flesh out the details more. So what else does your PC see? Is there anyone else around in that area that they could meet for help? So that is an example of how to keep that element of surprise and keep yourself engaged, is to make sure that you're asking the oracle the right questions and you're interpreting certain situations, how these certain situations are tied back to your prompt. So I hope that that was helpful for you. I know when it comes to solo tabletop RPGs, especially when you're first starting out, it is a mindset shift because you do have to keep a very open mind because not everything is black and white. And sometimes when you are exploring, there are different things that you can do too to make sure that you are letting it grow organically. So for example, if you have like an NPC and you don't know like who this NPC is, you can flesh out the character of that NPC. Like you can think about their backstory, their background, their personality. Are they a complete stranger? Or you can even ask the oracle, does my PC recognize this person? So those are different ways that you can keep up with that element of surprise. Well, I hope that that tip was helpful, and let me know if you have any advice for newer players on how to lean in on the mystery behind the adventures and not just doing a boring adventure of like, okay, here's a monster, we attack it, here's the next monster, we'll attack that one. I think the story and narrative part is what makes this a lot of fun. So, all right, well, that is it for today's video. I hope that was helpful. And please let me know if you have any questions. I am here to help. And I also hope that you will think about joining my Patreon. So Patreon members, they get like certain perks. It is free to join, but there are different tiers that you can choose to if you want to support me and my content. And also know that everything that I get from like itch.io, Patreon, a portion of that money will also go towards giveaways as well. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, adventurers. Thank you for all the support. Until next time.